Imagine an empire built on something as simple as drinking coffee. A global giant with more than 35,000 stores across the planet. But how did a small cafe in Seattle become the world's temple of coffee? And more importantly, how is it that in 2025, this colossal brand is now trembling? Sales are falling. Customers are protesting. Employees are demanding change. How did Starbucks go from being a symbol of success to teetering on the edge of collapse? What happened to the coffee empire? Why has the green siren lost her song? Today we'll uncover the mystery behind Starbucks' fall from grace, its hidden truths, its fatal mistakes, and whether there's still hope for redemption. Let's search for the clues and reveal the unbelievable story behind the brand that revolutionized coffee. Did you know the world's largest coffee empire was born without serving a single cup? It was 1971, Seattle. Three friends came together: Jerry Baldwin, Zev Siegel, and Gordon Bowker. Baldwin came from a family of entrepreneurs. Siegel had a passion for artisan roasting, and Bowker, a natural storyteller, wanted to share stories through flavor. They chose Pike Place Market, Seattle's iconic, noisy heart. Between fishmongers and flower stalls, they opened their first little shop. Starbucks Coffee, Tea and Spice, painted by hand on a small wooden sign. But why the name? Starbucks. To find the answer, we dive into the sea, to a story that began in 1851. Herman Melville's novel, Moby Dick, introduced us to Starbuck, the loyal and brave first mate of the Pequod. That's the spirit they wanted: adventure, courage, and consistency. Before we dive deeper into Starbucks' growth, we need to talk about the logo. The founders hired designer Terry Heckler to create a symbol that reflected Seattle's maritime roots and the coffee trade's long connection to the sea. Heckler pored over old nautical books and maps. That's when he found her, a twin-tailed siren, a mythical creature from Greek legends. The image came from a 16th century Norwegian engraving, a siren so alluring she was impossible to resist. That was the power they wanted to capture. Just like a siren's song, coffee seduces you from the first sip. In 2011, for the brand's 40th anniversary, Starbucks made a bold change. They removed the outer text, leaving only the green circle and the clean silhouette of the siren. No words needed. A minimalist icon, instantly recognizable around the world. From myth to marketing, the siren evolved into a muse for millions of coffee lovers. Let's go back to the beginning. Unlike a traditional coffee shop, Starbucks wasn't created to serve coffee on the spot. Its mission was to educate the public. They sold top-quality beans and specialized grinders. Each customer went home with more than just a product. They left with a sensory experience and a new way to understand coffee. That's how the Starbucks story began. Three visionaries, a literary name, and a powerful belief that coffee could change the way we live, our everyday lives. Now, let's see how that tiny seed grew into a global giant. Did you know Starbucks almost never served brewed coffee until a trip to Italy changed everything? In 1982, a young Howard Schultz joined Starbucks as head of marketing. But in 1983, a visit to Milan transformed his vision. In every corner of the city, espresso bars were alive, with conversation, connection, and community. Back in Seattle, Schultz proposed a bold idea. Starbucks would become a third place, not home, not work, but a welcoming space where life happens. The founders weren't convinced, so in 1986, Schultz opened his own coffee chain, Il Giornale. Just 1 year later, he bought Starbucks for $3.8 million and merged the two brands. From a tiny cafe in Milan, the world's biggest espresso empire was born. Howard Schultz didn't just see coffee beans, he saw a space to bring people together. And with that vision, he transformed a small Seattle shop into a global phenomenon. How did Starbucks grow from just 6 little stores in Seattle to more than 1,600 across the U.S., revolutionizing coffee culture with a single sip? In less than a decade, Howard Schultz's vision sparked unstoppable growth. He didn't just open new stores. He launched iconic products that reshaped the way the world drinks coffee. When Schultz took the reins in 1987, Starbucks had only 6 stores. By 1992, that number had grown to over 165. And by the end of the decade, 1999, Starbucks had nearly 1,650 locations. On June 26, 1992, Starbucks went public on the NASDAQ at $17 per share. But this wasn't just an IPO. It was the moment premium coffee became a mainstream business. That infusion of capital fueled rapid expansion and bold investments in innovation. In 1995, the Frappuccino was born, a cold blend of coffee, milk, and flavor that quickly became a cultural phenomenon. In 1996, Starbucks crossed borders for the first time, opening a store in Tokyo. From there, the brand expanded to Europe, Latin America, the Middle East, and the Asia-Pacific region. Each new market meant adaptation, local flavors, local designs, and baristas trained to understand the soul of each city. By the late 90s, Starbucks had become a household name. In 1998, they were selling over 50,000 Frappuccinos a day. By 2000, it had become their signature seasonal drink. In 1999, Starbucks launched premium instant coffee, bringing the Starbucks experience anywhere in just seconds. With every new invention, Starbucks welcomed more people, those craving a cold indulgence, others seeking a refined espresso. Everyone found a place within the brand, from 6 stores to 1,650, from a bold vision to a successful IPO, and from drip coffee to iconic drinks. That's how Starbucks became the global brand we know today. After conquering the U.S. with Frappuccinos and premium coffee, Starbucks made 3 more game-changing moves: the Cafe Latte, the reloadable Starbucks card, and a store count so massive it barely fit on the map. In 2001, the Starbucks card was born, a reloadable payment method that turned every purchase into points and every customer into a loyal fan. Millions of users reloaded it again and again, building a daily habit and creating a stream of predictable, recurring revenue. It was a genius move, transforming casual buyers into daily regulars. Between 2000 and 2015, Starbucks shattered expectations. It opened stores on every continent and brought your favorite coffee into the palm of your hand. In 2002, it returned to the stock market with strength, reaffirming its financial dominance a decade after the 1992 IPO. By 2005, Starbucks had over 10,000 stores worldwide, a level of growth no one could ignore. In 2009, the company launched Starbucks Rewards, a program that turned every coffee into stars, perks, and surprises. Millions joined, collecting points, redeeming free drinks, enjoying exclusive events, and personalized offers. Starbucks wasn't just selling coffee anymore. It was building a global community of loyal fans and brand ambassadors. In 2012, the mobile app changed everything. Customers could now order ahead, skip the line, and have their drink ready the moment they arrived. A happy customer is one who doesn't have to wait. With the app and the Starbucks card combined, the company built a seamless link between the physical world and the digital one. Pick up in-store, pay with a tap, earn stars, all without reaching for your wallet. By 2015, Starbucks was operating in more than 65 countries, with over 20,000 stores worldwide. And the app? It was processing hundreds of millions of transactions each year. Every store became a puzzle piece in a carefully designed global system. This omni-channel experience didn't just improve customer service, it became the blueprint for the entire retail industry. From latte to loyalty card to record-breaking store counts, Starbucks wasn't just selling coffee anymore. It was selling belonging, status, and the American dream in a green cup. When the world shook in 2008, how did Starbucks survive and emerge as a symbol of ethics and responsibility? At the height of the Great Recession, Starbucks shut down 600 stores and laid off thousands of employees, all to protect the company's future. Stores became smaller, menus more efficient. Cost-cutting programs were introduced without sacrificing the essence of great coffee. It was a painful adjustment, but a necessary one. A step back to build a foundation for long-term recovery. That same year, Howard Schultz returned as CEO. His mission, reignite customer passion and rebuild Starbucks' internal culture. Flagship stores reopened. Barista training was reinvested in. Warm, cozy designs made a comeback. Starbucks shifted its focus back to the experience. Schultz redefined the company's purpose. It wasn't just about serving coffee anymore. It was about creating community, one cup at a time. Surviving the crisis wasn't enough. Starbucks set out to become a brand with purpose. By 2015, Starbucks ensured that 99% of its coffee was sourced through fair trade and responsible farming practices. The company pledged to eliminate plastic straws and reimagined its packaging, using more recycled materials and sending less waste to landfills. Through the Starbucks Foundation, they invested millions in youth education and support for coffee farmers, cementing their role as a force for change. Today, over 80% of their sourcing meets ethical standards, and their environmental initiatives have become a model for the entire industry. Starbucks proved that surviving the storm isn't enough. You have to reinvent yourself with purpose. From crisis to conscience, a new chapter was written. In March 2020, coffee shops stood empty, but Starbucks turned the storm into a digital surge. The pandemic hit hard. Emptied downtown streets, soaring rent costs, and a demotivated workforce. But Starbucks didn't give up. Instead, it reinvented every step of the customer journey and fast-tracked its tech transformation. That's how it saved the business and prepared for the future. Almost overnight, Starbucks temporarily closed most of its stores worldwide. It was a sudden shock, from long morning lines to silent, empty cafes. But the coffee giant adapted, fast. It doubled its drive-through locations. It launched Starbucks Pickup. It boosted its mobile app. The store evolved into a bridge between the digital and physical worlds. To cut costs and enable social distancing, Starbucks introduced express stores and kiosks, small high-tech spaces offering ultra-fast service, like airport or compact cafes inside office buildings and luxury hotels. The moment has arrived. Attention, coffee lovers. Is Starbucks in free fall? Are the long lines a thing of the past? Or is it all just an urban legend? What's really destroying the empire of the Green Siren? In the next few minutes, I'll reveal the truth behind the rumors about a giant in crisis. In 2018, Howard Schultz returned as interim CEO with a clear motto: back to basics. He shut down over 800 stores and trimmed down the menu. He admitted it. Growing out of control had destroyed the original experience. It was the first major sign that even empires can stumble under the weight of their own success. There was a time when walking into a Starbucks meant you could stay for hours. They weren't just selling coffee. They were selling an experience: comfy chairs, free Wi-Fi, cozy vibes. It was your third place. But since the pandemic, everything changed. Many stores removed seating areas. Now they're just pickup points. Fast, cold, and impersonal. What happened? Remember when the menu was simple? Today, there are over 100 drink combinations. And yes, people actually order things like this. A venti caramel macchiato with 15 pumps of vanilla, whipped cream, light ice, and extra caramel. Endless customization is overwhelming the system. Add toppings, syrups, creams, and chaos begins. Baristas can't keep up. Wait times grow. Quality drops. Over 70% of Starbucks sales now come from mobile orders or drive-through. The result? If you're inside the store, you're the last in line. Starbucks is prioritizing customers who aren't even present. Back in 2020, a venti latte cost $3.95. Today, in 2025, it's $5.45. That's over a 35% increase. But without the ambiance, without customization, without added value, is it really worth it? 2 out of 3 stores are understaffed, and it shows. Poor service, misspelled names, no smiles. Starbucks used to feel human. Now it's just cold efficiency with no soul. As Starbucks gets faster and more expensive, thousands of independent cafes are offering something better. Better atmosphere, better service, and better coffee. In the US alone, there are now over 65,000 local coffee shops, and many of them are winning. In Australia, Starbucks shut down 70% of its stores. In China, it was overtaken by a local competitor. Why? Because Starbucks failed to understand the local coffee cultures in the very places it tried to conquer. The sudden exit of Kevin Johnson in 2022, followed by the arrival of Laxman Narasimhan in 2023, created internal turbulence. Employees reported a lack of clear direction. By 2023, Starbucks slowed its U.S. store expansion, shifting focus to emerging markets and more compact formats. Meanwhile, at home, premium coffee machines like Nespresso and personal barista setups began to replace store visits. Between 2021 and 2023, coffee machine sales rose by 25%. Competitors like Dunkin', Costa Coffee, and McCafe started gaining ground, focusing on lower prices, product innovation, and stronger local adaptation. At the same time, a labor movement began to rise. Baristas across the U.S. started unionizing, demanding better wages and improved working conditions, while Starbucks pushed hard on digitalization, mobile apps, delivery, online ordering. The in-store experience began to suffer. In 2024, CEO Laxman Narasimhan stepped down after weak results and mounting pressure from Wall Street. By September 2024, Starbucks brought in a new leader, Brian Niccol, former CEO of Taco Bell and Chipotle. His mission: restore the soul of the brand. Can he do it? That remains uncertain. Niccol took the reins with bold announcements: simplify the menu by 40%, bring back the beloved condiment bar, eliminate extra charges for alternative milks, offer delivery in under 4 minutes by hiring thousands of new baristas. Explore a partial sale of Starbucks China after a 6% sales drop in that market. But the first quarter of 2025 delivered more bad news: a 1% decline in same-store sales, forcing Starbucks to suspend its annual financial guidance. According to Reuters and AP News, Starbucks just closed its 4th consecutive quarter of declining same-store sales in the U.S., dragged down by inflation and increasingly cautious consumers. At the same time, its growth in China continues to stall, outpaced by local competitors. Starbucks was once the model employer. Now it faces strikes, union demands, and a wave of bad press. Its progressive image is crumbling, and customers are starting to notice. Starbucks is learning the hard way. Infinite growth without brand consistency, without caring for workers or customers, isn't sustainable. Now the company is being forced to hit reset or risk falling behind for good. Its challenge today: to recover the original magic, quality, community, and speed. Can Brian Niccol undo the damage and restore Starbucks to its throne before the siren fades for good? Like a giant that stumbles, Starbucks reminds us, no matter how strong an empire may seem, greatness is never guaranteed. But from the ashes of any fall comes the chance to be reborn. Can they turn crisis into the comeback of a colossus? Or have they already sold their soul with every overpriced cup? If this analysis shook you like it shook me, give us a like, hit subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs a coffee and a dose of reality. In our next video, we'll unravel another empire on the edge of collapse. Don't miss it. This is Drakonomic. Until next time.